Auburn. They had a scrimmage this past Saturday as well. They had a different temp, so their scrimmage was a little bit more open, and their scrimmage was what we call a thud tempo. Auburn Tiger fans, we've had a ton of y'all subscribe and join the show recently. Man, we appreciate y'all so much for it, and if you have not yet, subscribe. No time like the present. Okay, Payton Thorne, I'm just saying, I think he's going to have a good year. Cam Coleman, I mean, we all have eyes that work just fine. He's going to be a dog for you. Make sure you're subscribed because we're going to talk a lot about Auburn and their prospects in 2024. We appreciate y'all in advance for being locked in with us. So what does thud mean? Just how it sounds. Thud is essentially you are hitting the ball carrier, you're wrapping up, but we are not taking anybody to the ground as a full tackle, okay? We want to keep everybody healthy. Season's right around the corner. It's a way to get good work, but still keep everybody upright. So with that being the case, it's hard to take as much away from the defensive side of things because you're like, well, hey, he wrapped up, but like, would someone have gotten out of that tackle? Is that really going to be good enough for a tackle in the game? So that's all sort of something where it's like, hey, we'll never actually know. So you take it with a grain of salt. Let's start at the quarterback position. Payton Thorne, I think, has been one of the most highly scrutinized players in college football, period, this offseason. All reports out of Auburn are like, hey, he looks pretty smooth. Now, the reports behind closed doors are that during practice, like, they're lighting it up. Like he's just been dynamite, pushing the ball downfield, offense looks more explosive, all those things. During this scrimmage, though, the sentiment is like, hey, he just took what the defense gave him. Like, was conservative is always kind of an ugly word talking about quarterbacks, but Payton Thorne during the scrimmage, it sounds like, was fairly conservative to some degree. Threw 2 touchdowns, did not even come close to turning the ball over, is what I was told. Now, behind him, there's some competition now. You got Holden Geriner. You got Hank Brown. From what I've been told, Hank Brown is spinning it. All right, now, obviously, for any young quarterback, consistency is going to be a thing as he progresses throughout his college career. But, like, I'll just say this. Sounds like Hank Brown had some good moments during that scrimmage. I would not be surprised. Again, I don't know this. This is just my gut feeling. I would not be surprised if he ended up being your QB2 for Auburn this year. I'll leave it at that. Now, Keandre Lambert-Smith didn't play. Cam Coleman sounds like was barely targeted. The Young Bucks, though, for Auburn in this wide receiver room, outside of Cam Coleman, we've been told a lot about, and they've been a talking point since they've committed to Auburn. Malcolm Simmons had a day and a half, it sounds like. Perry Thompson also had a big day. Like, those are 2 guys that I think will factor in some respect at some point for Auburn this year. The overwhelming sentiment is like, hey, these young dudes at Auburn, like this young core nucleus of guys they have, they are continuing to push and overtake some of the guys that maybe have been there for a little bit longer. Rivaldo Fairweather, what I was told is, yeah, he's listed as a tight end, but like they're going to use him every which way. You can put him out in the slot, you can put his hand in the dirt because he's such a freaking massive human being. There's reason to be excited. I don't know that he got that much burn during the scrimmage necessarily, but overwhelmingly through fall camp, results and what you've heard about him is extremely, extremely positive. Now, again, going back to defense, it's tough to take too much away when you're going thud. Sounds like they were fairly aggressive defensively. I would also mention this during a scrimmage. When you are scripting together a scrimmage as a coaching staff, a lot of times you're doing that to get a certain look against a certain defensive scheme or offensive scheme. It sounded like the offense maybe did some things they wouldn't do during a game week to get a good look against this defense, if you catch my drift. So all that's to say, offense was maybe a little bit more conservative than they would be. Defensively, they were a little bit more aggressive. Sounds like they had a good day. Again, I don't know exactly how much you want to take from that. Jaron Thompson, throughout his time since getting to Auburn, even in the spring, has been a dude. The safety transfer over from Texas. He's spoken extremely highly about his teammates on that defensive side of the football. Has said it's one of the most talented units he's been a part of. So take of that as you will. The big thing for me with Auburn that has been continually a talking point for them throughout the spring, throughout fall camp, and we felt this when we went out there during spring practice. Like, it's year 2 for Hugh Freeze and company out there. It doesn't feel like it. Like, it doesn't feel like a team going into their second year in the system. Like, there was a bit of a reset offensively, which honestly I think has benefited them, and that's kind of the overwhelming feeling internally as well, is that they are better off now with the way they're doing things offensively with Derek Nix and Hugh Freeze. But, like, what I want to make sure we say here is they feel very organized. They feel cohesive. That's massive. because it didn't always feel that way last year. So to be able to make strides and to be in the position they're at right now and to have the vibe they have right now out of fall camp, hard to take anything away but a positive right now from what you're hearing on the Plains and from the folks over at Auburn Live. So again, Auburn Live, the On3 Auburn site, JD1 at checkout, $1 1 month. If you're on the fence now, that is what you need to do to get yourself as dialed in as possible for college football season. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.